Hey guys, what's up? Is there any mods in here? Dang, I hope some mods come. How's everybody doing? I don't even know who's here actually. I'll just say hi to the people that are actually in. Oh, you know what? Let me bring up my YouTube side real quick. Hey Juicy, what's up? Let me bring up YouTube. Okay, so how many of you guys been following this case? Because I am behind, but I spent the last like 2.5 days just watching video after video, article after article about this case. I'm behind since I was, away for a while, but wow, I'm like crazy. My one mod, Diana, was filming in some stuff because she's been following like some of this stuff since the 90s. Like, there's possibly, hey, Vera Ladouche, since day one. Yeah, you too. Yeah, I haven't been, but I watched a ton of documentaries and videos, and I have the indictment I wanna read to you guys. Um, yeah, wow. So how many of you guys is everybody in here familiar with this case? I don't need to give, like, a summary or anything, right? Hey, Matt, the Rex Heuermann, serial killer, basically. They call it Lisk because it's Long Island serial killer. So they've linked him to 3, and they're working on the 4th. They think the 4th, they're gonna be able to do it. The 4th, they even talk about the 4th in the indictment. They list, the details on that in the indictment, so I'm sure they're gonna be able to do that. And there's possibly 10, actually possibly 17, and maybe more. It's crazy, like, oh my god, this guy. Um, but as far as what he's been arrested for, only 3 so far and probably a 4th. So, hey, Carrie, here, let me put up this little video. I just put some pictures. So here, and then we'll read the indictment. So here is, so we have Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Amber Costello. Those are the 3 that he has been charged with, these 3, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, and Amber Costello. Now, Maureen Bernard Barnes, she is, they think, they have some evidence that they are trying to link her to Rex too. So she's actually listed in the indictment. And then Shannon Gilbert is very important in this case because her 911 calls. Now, if we have time at the end of this, I'll play it. I have like the unedited 911 call, where we can listen to the whole thing. But because of her 911 calls, that's why they started finding these women. They were searching for her and they found the 4 that I just listed, and then they ended up finding her. But they don't think that she's actually linked to Rex. And I didn't think so either until I watched a couple videos where one of the escorts does an interview. She does an interview with 3 different news reporters, right? Here, I'm gonna press play. There's just some pictures. So she does a interview with 3 different reporters. I have it in the clips that I'll end up playing maybe in the middle of this. We'll take a break from reading the indictment and I'll play the video clips. But a couple things she says makes me think maybe he is responsible for Shannon. Um, so she had met up with Rex, okay, one of the escorts, and she talked to him, and he's like, I guess he asked her about the Gilgo murders and stuff. So he asked her about them. Yeah, let me pause it right here real quick. So here's a map of where they found everybody. So the first 4 were like right almost like next to each other. I mean, they were really close. And then there was an Asian male. Then you have Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, and a toddler, 2-year-old toddler that they found, which it looks like her mother was also one of the victims, or the toddler's mother. I'm not sure 100% on that. But anyway, so the escort, let's go back to that little story. The escort says that he brings it up. Rex brings up the Gilgo murders and he asks about Shannon. And he says, "Do you think Shannon's like a part of this?" And she says, "Yeah." And he says, "Yeah, me too." So if he is indeed the one that did this, then for him to say that, it almost makes it seem like she is, but I don't know. It's weird. Well, we'll go over that at the end with Shannon. A part of me doesn't think so, but just why would he say that? So it's a little bit tricky why he said that. Maybe he was just wants to take credit for her. Um, I don't know. After I listened to the 911 call and you listen to that and you I guess there's some in between time, we don't know what happens, but there's like a documentary where the driver talks and stuff, and it's like his story, it almost seems like maybe not, but I don't know. We'll talk about that at the end. Anyway, let me press play. I have some pictures here while I'm saying hi, and then we'll start reading the indictment. How many of you guys have read the whole indictment? It's around 20 pages, so it's not real long, but like I said, I'll probably like maybe read half of it and then I'll play the video that of clips of the news clips maybe to kind of take a break from it and then I'll go back. So this is the belt. They found a belt out in that area. Okay, they said it was like a belt for like a bigger person and I mean, Rex is like what 6'4" or whatever. He's a big guy, right? Now they had the initials H and M, and when they found that they weren't sure if it was H and M, if the initials were HM or WH, which his initials aren't either of those. So I looked up his dad's name, and his dad doesn't begin with a W either. But what if that just stands for his last name, Heuermann, HM? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you guys think about the belt initials? Because maybe he puts that for his last name. Is the only thing I could think of because those aren't his initials. It's close. I mean the WH, but his name's Rex and his dad's name is shoot, I forget. I looked it up earlier and it's not. It doesn't begin with a W. I don't know. I forget now what his dad's name is, but trust me, it's not W. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it's just for his last name. What do you guys think? William. Oh, it is William? Are you sure? Hold on a second. If it's William, then the source I looked up was wrong. Hold on. Man, I keep putting this. I looked under his wedding, his first marriage. I mean, you could have done it a couple ways, but I was just looking through pictures and I saw it and I was like, "Oh, okay." And it talks about his dad and her dad. So that I was like, "Oh, there's his dad's." Dude, my phone is not letting me. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. Okay. If it's William, then yeah, wow. I know, I think it is. It's something like Ted or something. It was not W when I looked it up, but like I said, maybe the newspaper article was wrong. It was like his wedding newspaper article when they list like the parents of the people getting married. Let me just go Rex Heuermann. Oh, let me press play so these pictures will play. Dad. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Theodore. Yes, Theodore. So Ted, yeah. So it's not W. So I don't know where the W. I think it just might be HM for his last name. Heuermann. HM. Maybe he puts that on his stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be that weird, I don't think, right? Oh, grandfather. Ooh, okay. I guess it could be his grandfather's. I don't know what is his grandfather's with W? Are there any blue people on? I don't know what that means, Sandra. Blue? So here's a picture of so I'm gonna read you an article too when I'll take a break from reading the indictment and like read, read a couple articles, play some videos. But there's an article where he was in a play and he did something where one of the people now looking back thinks he did it on purpose, where one of them almost died. Did you guys read that article? Anyway, that's a picture from the play. Yeah, there he is. William died 1964. His grandfather was William. Okay, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't go as far back to find his grandfather. So you think it's his grandfather's belt? Let's see. Rex Heuermann is William. Yeah, it is William. You're right. His grandfather's name is William. So yeah, I guess his dad could have passed it to his or his dad's dad could have gave it to his dad and his dad could have gave it to him, the belt. I mean, I don't know. Possibly? Oh, Patronus. No, I don't. Is that what you I don't have any. Hey, mods apart garage. Do I? Because when hold on, let me see. When I look through StreamYard, they don't come up blue. Patronus. Am I saying that wrong? Now I feel like I remember you told me how to say it. Now I feel like I'm saying it wrong again. Patronus? Yeah, you're right. It probably was his grandfather's. You're probably right. Like he kept that house, and yeah, maybe. Okay. Okay. So Patronus. Okay. Hey, yeah, maybe Miss Creepy Lee. Hey Patronus, since I know you want a mod for right now? Well, since I don't have anybody in, I know I could trust you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know you, who you are and stuff. So, what do you think? Would you be interested just until somebody else comes in? I emailed a couple of my other mods. Hopefully they'll see it. Okay. There we go. All right. Mod it up. So yeah, man, I wish I had a way to, oh, I do have a way to contact you about, um, how to do that. Hold on one second. While these pictures are playing, let me message her so she knows what to be expected for modding. Okay, guys, hold on one second. You could look at the pictures, or I could probably play some of the video I did, huh? Well, no, there's some pictures. There is. You could read. Hold on one second. Patronus, will you message me? Because I don't know. My phone is so messed up, and then I'll be able to message you back real quick. I feel like by the time I find it, I don't know. My phone is just, I feel like I cleared some of it out, and I'm gonna have trouble. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I feel like when I'm live, I can't I can't find it now. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that's you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So okay. So yeah, so they're his wife and his daughter. So he was married before. Okay. Here, actually, you know what? We'll do a couple articles here. So he was married before. So that daughter and his son. So that's his stepson, actually. Here, let me show you this article that shows how talks about his first wife and what happened and stuff. Okay, here we go. Oh, thanks, Jonathan Preziose. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I've been asking you to cover Rex as a live right here. I used to drive by where the bodies were in 2010. Good to see you back. Oh, cool. I think I do remember you asking me about this. And I was probably into another case, and um sometimes I get overwhelmed, but thank you. Thank you so much. Um okay, so let me share my whole screen real quick because I'm gonna have to do that anyway. I'll read one article and then we'll get into the indictment, just because I'm talking about his first wife. So, in case of you guys. So, his first wife, Elizabeth Ryan, so is a woman who has recently come to public attention because of her connection to Rex Heuermann, the prime suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. We've gathered information from a variety of sources to provide comprehensive overview of Elizabeth Ryan's background, education, and personal life. There we go. So we have who is Elizabeth Ryan? It's his first wife, Rex's first wife. Rex is an architect who founded the New York firm RH Consultants and Associates and has two children, a daughter and a son with special needs. Elizabeth Ryan married Rex Heuermann in 1990 when he was just 26. The couple were married at St. Peter's Church in New Brunswick, New Jersey. At the time of the marriage, Ryan worked as a junior planner at a New Jersey office supply company, while Heuermann was an intern at architectural firm. The couple resided on Long Island, New York, where they raised their two children, a daughter named Victoria and a son who would be a stepson. According to the neighbors, the couple were married for several years before going their separate ways. And then Asa, the second wife, after his divorce from Elizabeth, Rex married Asa Ellerup. Asa reportedly lived with Rex in the same house as Massapequa Park before his arrest. Asa Ellerup reportedly attended Farmingdale High School and previously worked at the Long Island Jewish Medical Center. So this says Elizabeth Ryan's ex-husband, Rex Heuermann, and his second wife, Asa. She appeared alongside Rex in court when he pleaded not guilty to murder charges in July 14th, 2023. And then it says Rex Heuermann's second wife, Asa, has been seen by his side in court since his arrest. I didn't know that. So Rex has two children, a daughter named Victoria and a son. Victoria was briefly listed as part of her company's team on her website before she was removed following her identification as suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders. So that's his daughter. It says, according to the neighbor, the son is a kind and well-behaved child, but little is known about him now. Anyway, so yeah. So Asa is his second wife. I'm a little bit confused because is that his stepson? Because it said stepson, but that wouldn't even make any sense then, because why would he be living with him if they got a divorce? And if hold on, maybe I read that wrong. Do you know if his son is his biological son, the son that's living with him? Look, it says, wait, a daughter named Victoria and a son who would be a stepson. What are they? I'm not sure. Now that I'm thinking about it, that wouldn't even make sense because they're talking about Elizabeth and Rex having a daughter and a son, and one would be a stepson. So if that really is his stepson, then why would he be living with him now if they got a divorce? I mean, I guess. Oh. Oh, I see. So maybe, yeah, I'm a little bit confused about all that. I can only get so much done in like 2.5 days. So I don't know the family for sure, like some of the specifics. So you thought it was Asa's son. Maybe it is, and maybe the stepson from the first marriage is somebody else. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing how they have that worded. But from before, he has disabilities. Okay. Okay. All right, let's start reading the indictment, and then like I said, we'll take a break and maybe read another article or watch a part of the video I edited. I just want to see. Rex Heuermann's son, reportedly a stepson, they're saying that again, has special needs. I don't know. Hold on, let me just see something. I want to go down to, oh, I guess they're not going to talk about that. Okay. Okay, let's start reading this and then. I know, didn't they? Hey, Alibi. Hey, Night Stalker. Hey, BB. Thank you guys for coming. Sandra and Jonathan, thank you again. And Patronus, thank you for modding. I know I'm late. I'm late to following it. Like I said, I just a couple days ago I just started because it was all over the news and I'm like, what is this? I kept seeing his picture. Like, so I knew the face and I'm like, all right, I just got to dig into this because, part of me is like, God, am I going to be able to get caught up? There's so much, but I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? So I'm starting. And I think this is going to be going on for a while because they're going to try to connect him. Like he's connected to what? South Carolina, Las Vegas. I mean, they're trying to see if he's been doing this all over the freaking country, basically. So this is like a big case, man. He may have killed like a lot of people. I mean, you have 10 people, possibly 17, possibly more if you go to different states. I mean, this could be crazy. I mean, he could be like one of the bigger serial killers. I don't know. Okay. It's Ace's son. So the stepson, when they're talking about stepson from, because they did say with Elizabeth Ryan, he had a stepson too, though, because they were talking about him and Elizabeth had a daughter and a son that they raised. And then they said stepson. So did she, like, is he just out of the picture, that stepson? You know what I'm saying? That's why it is a little bit tricky. Okay. So I'm going to start reading this, guys. It's so tempting though to look at chat because I know a lot of you guys have been following this longer than me and you have, information that I don't know. So it's very tempting but I know I should start reading. But I like learning from you guys. It's a team effort. Yeah, no, they do sometimes. Awesome! Yay! You made it! So now we got 2 mods. I feel a little bit better now. Okay. All right, so now we got 2 mods. Patronus, I felt bad. I just modded you, and then I'm just gonna leave you. So now I feel a little bit better starting to, because when I start to read, I'm not gonna be able to look at chat. So that's another part of the reason why I was kind of putting it off for a minute. Okay, Ausane, you think you'll be good? Ausane and Patronus, I think we'll be good, right? For a minute. Hopefully. Okay. Normally I wouldn't care, but under these circumstances. Yeah, yeah. Can I tell you how to pronounce the town? Yeah. Wait, what town? What are you talking about? Did I say something wrong? Oh, that town. Okay. Massapequa. Did I say it wrong? Massapequa? I thought probably that one. I feel like that's what I said, but maybe not. Massapequa. Okay. Massapequa. I might pronounce some things wrong in this indictment too. I apologize. So, and especially when you're reading so much, sometimes even words that you normally do know, like your mouth, like you get tired and you just get lazy on pronouncing things. At least I do. Not on purpose. Just like, I don't know. It's weird. Okay. I'm going to go now. I'm going to start reading now. Massapequa. Anything else I should know? Vera Ledouche. So wait, real quick. Has anybody else read this whole thing? Or is this going to be new to some of you guys, right? Because I don't want to be boring you guys if you guys already read it. All right, so let's start here. Trying to make it as big as possible. Is that going to include everything? Hold on, let me do 225. Okay, that should be good. Let me try it like this. There we go. That's better. All right. Qua. Oh, I was still saying it wrong? Oh. Massapequa. Massapequa, Massapequa. You guys could hear those subtle differences. They're cute. Oh, I don't even need my headphones right now. Okay. Massapequa. Massapequa. All right, here we go. So we have the people of the state of New York against Rex A. Heuermann. Am I saying his last name right? I was like, I know I'm probably going to say it wrong in some people's eyes, his last name maybe, but okay. Defendant Rex A. Heuermann stands before this court charged by the grand jury with murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Law, section blah, blah, blah. So, violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew, murder in first degree for Megan Waterman, murder in first degree for Amber Costello, murder in the second degree. I want to see if they word that. I guess I should say well, for the second degree, I'll do the dates. Melissa Bartholomew is July 10th, 2009. So on or about July 10th, 2009. The murder in the second degree of Megan Waterman on or about June 6th, 2010. Murder in the second degree of Amber Costello on or about September 2010. September 2nd, 2010. Oh, good, Vera. Okay, so as described below, based on the serious, heinous nature of these serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of the incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, his recent searches for sadistic materials and CP images of the victims and their relatives, counter surveillance conducted online as to the criminal investigation, his use of fictitious names, burner email and cell phone accounts, and his access to and history of possessing firearms. The only means to ensure defendant Rex A. Heuermann his return to court is to remand him without bail. So, discovery of the victims. Jamie, so he's been convicted of 3. They're working on a 4th, but possibly it could be way more because they found a lot of bodies on the area. Like, if you see the map that I put up there, like along that stretch, they're pretty close. And then there could be more. Okay, so here we go. Discovery of the victims. On December 11th, 2010, police officer John Malia was conducting a training exercise with his canine partner, Blue, along Ocean Parkway in Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. During the course of the training exercise, Blue located a set of human remains. The remains were later identified to be those of Melissa Bartholomew. 2 days later, on December 13th, 2010, the SCPD continued to search in proximity to where the remains of Melissa Bartholomew were recovered. On that date, members of the SCPD found 3 additional sets of human remains within 1/4 mile of the first discovery. It says see image below. So here is the remains, how close they all were. So Maureen Brene Barnes right there, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. All within days, they found them all, right? They found the first one, and then how did they say it? Like, then 2 days later, they found, Melissa, and then they found 3 additional. Man. Okay, so 3 additional sets of remains were identified as those of Maureen Bernard Barnes, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. The cause of death of all 4 women was determined to be homicidal violence. Okay. The investigations into these deaths were linked as, in addition to other factors, the victims each appeared to have been placed in close proximity to one another, 22 to 33 feet from the edge of the parkway. All were petite females, approximately 22 to 27 years old, believed to be working as sex workers. All had missing clothing and personal possessions. All had been killed by homicide. All had contact shortly before their disappearances with a person using a burner cell phone, i.e., cell phones without an associated verified identity. You know what? Hold on. I forgot to actually do hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Just 1 minute on the settings so it does the live chat to make sure. Just something I usually do for all my videos. Just give me 1 minute. I'm slacking. To first of all, make it a little bit easier, I could put subs only, which I should do because this everything going on. I feel like it will help you guys since there's only 2 mods. I can't believe I forgot to do that, guys. I'm sorry. 1 second. I'm glad I remembered though. Okay, customization, subscribers. Okay, so now it'll be on subs only chat. Just so people, if they want to chat, they have to be subbed. And since everything going on, I think that's a smart way to go. Okay. All right, we got her done. Okay, let's continue. So it says, and the cell phones of 2 of the 4 victims, Bernard Barnes and Bartholomew, were used by the killer after their deaths. In addition, each of the 4 victims were found similarly positioned, bound in a similar fashion by either belts or tape, with 3 of the victims found wrapped in burlap-type material. So there's a note right here. Wait, did they might not have listed. Yeah, for one for the so the Marine Bernard Barnes, so she's the 4th one that he has not been charged yet with. So what it says about her, it says, although the defendant is not yet charged with any crimes as to the disappearance and murder of Miss Bernard Barnes, as set forth below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is the prime suspect in her death and the investigation, which is continuing and is expected to be resolved soon. Moreover, there is substantial evidence of defendant Heuermann's involvement in the disappearance and death of Miss Bernard Barnes, which evidence closely fits the MO of the defendant in relation to the deaths of the other 3 women, in which supports the current charges. As such, this bail application contains descriptions of the evidence which demonstrates the strength of the people's case as currently charged. Okay. So recent investigation. On January 2022, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office assigned an experienced team of investigators, analysts, and prosecutors to work jointly with law enforcement partners from the Suffolk County Police Department, New York State Police, Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, and FBI. A comprehensive review of every item of evidence and information in this investigation was undertaken by the team. On March 4th, 2022, approximately 2 months into the renewed joint investigation, this comprehensive review led to the discovery of a first-generation Chevy Avalanche that was registered to defendant Rex A. Heuermann at the time of these murders. As described below, this was significant because a witness to the disappearance of Amber Costello identified a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche as the vehicle believed to have been driven by her killer. And they had that tip years ago. It's just crazy that they didn't even do anything with it. And there was like also a story of some corruption too. So eventually covering this case, we'll get into all that. Oh, it's crazy. Because they should have caught him earlier, in my opinion, but the corruption and stuff. But anyway, the discovery led to a comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, which consisted of over 300 subpoenas, search warrants, and other legal processes to obtain evidence. As discussed more fully below, among the items uncovered were cell phone billing records for defendant Heuermann corresponding to cell site locations for the burner cell phones used to arrange meetings with 3 of the 4 victims. The taunting calls made to a relative of Miss Bartholomew, a call made by a detective to Miss Bartholomew's cell phone while looking into her disappearance, calls checking voicemail on Miss Bernard Barnes' cell phone after her disappearance. So you see what they're saying, right? That they basically billing record. So the cell site locations that Heuermann was in matched up the burner phones of the people that they know that was used to contact these victims, which so they know that that is the suspect. Does that make sense? Well, I probably did not describe that good, but it's a good piece of evidence, like, that they got him. It's one of the, um that, the belt, the DNA, they found hair and stuff, but I'm sure it'll get all into that. Anyway, oh, here we go. Massapequa. Okay, so in addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa. How'd I do? Are you here still? I don't see you. Hey, Kayla. Vera, how'd I do? I don't know if you're still here. Anyway, okay, so in addition, Heuermann lived in Massapequa Park, where the victims were believed to have disappeared from. And he worked in Midtown Manhattan in the vicinity where the taunting calls were made to hit the sister of Miss Bartholomew. As set forth more fully below, defendant Rex A. Heuermann is believed to be a person who used the burner cell phones to communicate with each of the four victims prior to their disappearance, and who used Miss Bernard Barnes' cell phone and Miss Bartholomew's cell phone after their deaths. Both defendant Heuermann and these burner cell phones had significant connections to both Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park, New York. The disappearance and murder of Maureen Bernard Barnes. So remember, this is the one of the four that he hasn't been charged. He's the main suspect, but they haven't charged him with this one yet, with this murder. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Okay. Hey, coffee and conversation. Hey, learn to grow. Jesse. Aw. Thanks, guys, for coming. Carrie Cemetery. Okay. So the Maureen Bernard Barnes was last seen on July 9th, 2007 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 6, 2007, Miss Bernard Barnes' cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. Between July 6th and July 9th, there were 16 interactions between this burner phone and Bernard Barnes' cell phone. On July 9th, 2007, the last cell site location for Bernard Barnes' cell phone was at approximately 11:56 p.m. in Midtown Manhattan near the 59th Street Bridge. Thereafter, the Bernard Barnes cell phone had no further activity until July 12th, 2007. On July 12th, 2007, 3 days after her disappearance, 2 outbound calls were made from Bernard Barnes' cell phone, checking her voicemail from a cell site location near the Long Island Expressway in Islandia. Hopefully I said that right. I don't know. The disappearance and murder of Melissa Bartholomew. Melissa Bartholomew was last seen on July 10th, 2009 in New York City. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On July 3rd, 2009, Miss Bartholomew was contacted by a burner cell phone. Thereafter, the Bartholomew cell phone was contacted by this burner cell phone on July 6th, July 9th, July 10th, which was the last day she was seen alive. So you see, they talked for a few days. And even Bernard, I mean, you see how he's talking to them each, multiple times before it happened. So people say, like, because a few of them didn't go with their normal protocol by bringing their cell phones. A couple of them didn't bring their cell phones that day, which they think means because they felt really comfortable with this person. So he probably manipulated them, talking back and forth, and he made them feel really comfortable, like he was safe. And they didn't take their cell phones that day. And it's crazy. Not these ones, obviously, but I'm saying, I forget which one. I'm sure they'll say it somewhere in here, but yeah. Okay, so where are we at? Where are we at? Okay, on July 10th, 2009, cell site records indicate the burner cell phone traveled from Massapequa Park to Midtown Manhattan. Later that evening, the Bartholomew cell phone traveled from Midtown Manhattan to Massapequa, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa on July 11th, 2009 at approximately 1:43 a.m. On July 11th, 2009, Miss Bartholomew's cell phone was used to make an outbound call checking her voicemail from a cell site location at Freeport. On July 11th and July 12th, 2009, the Bartholomew phone made 2 more outbound calls checking her voicemail from cell site locations in Babylon. On July 17th, July 23rd, August 5th, August 19th, and August 26th, the Bartholomew phone made taunting phone calls to Miss Bartholomew's family members, some of which resulted in a conversation between the caller, who was a male, and a relative of Miss Bartholomew, in which the male caller admitted killing and essaying Miss Bartholomew. As described below, the cell site locations of the Bartholomew phone during these taunting calls were all in Midtown Manhattan. The disappearance and murder of Megan Waterman. Megan Waterman was last seen alive at the Holiday Inn in Hop Hop Hopeg. Does anyone know how to say that one? Hopeg, New York, on June 6, 2010, at approximately 1:30 a.m. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On June 5th, 2010, Miss Waterman's cell phone was contacted by another burner cell phone, which had just been activated that day. Thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6th, 2010, at approximately 1:31 a.m. So I think this is the one where I have a clip in my video where it has the surveillance of her at the hotel, and it's like they put it out before they caught him, before they knew, who it was. And they were like, take a good look at everybody and see if you recognize anybody. I think that's the one. We'll watch a clip later of that. Hopog. Hopog. That's how you say it, Jesse? Hopog? Hopog. Okay. Where are we at? Oh yeah, surveillance. This is what I was talking about. I would just read a little bit longer. So let me read the sentence again. It says, thereafter, the Waterman phone communicated with this burner cell phone on June 6, 2010, at approximately 1:31 a.m., which is around the time Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting the Holiday Inn in Hopog. I'm going to write that down. I keep feeling like I'm going to forget. Hopog. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. I still have the Rex YouTube interview. Oh, no, I have it. I have that. We're going to watch that later too. You're talking about the one with, what's his name? The one where they're interviewing about his job and stuff. I actually have that. I want to watch it at the end, but thank you. Um, oh, wait, the one, are you sure it's been down because it was up last night? I have it though. I downloaded it, but I wonder, are we talking about the same one? I hope, if maybe we're talking about a different one. Hopog. 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 Yeah, I think that's more like it. Hopog. Um, yeah, you guys. So I have the interview. It's like, I don't know how long it is, but it's pretty long where somebody's interviewing him, Rex. So we'll watch that. I have the whole thing because I know in certain news people just put clips, but I have the whole thing we could watch. Hot pocket, I'll say you're silly. So we'll do that at the end too, or maybe in between reading this. All right, where are we at? So yeah, which is around the time Megan Waterman was captured on video surveillance exiting Holiday Inn and Hop Hog for the last time. Following that communication, the burner cell phone had no further phone activity. However, cell site records show that Waterman's phone traveled to Massapequa Park, with the last cell site location being in Massapequa Park at approximately 3:11 a.m. in the vicinity of the residence of defendant Heuermann. So, because I think they are thinking at least one of them that he killed at his house. So this is probably at least one of them that they're thinking at. Because if her phone, well, wait, hold on. What day is that? Because all of them would be at his house if he took them. But I'm trying to see if it's when they still suspect her to be alive. Let me see. Yeah, at 3:11, it looks like it's that same. that same night. So yeah, right? Because I know they were talking about one where they are pretty sure that was that went back to his house. They may have all. I mean, they might end up getting evidence where they all went because they're like getting a ton of stuff from his house. So okay, the disappearance and murder of Amber Costello. Oh my God, Vera. Wait, is that one of them? Ronkonkoma? Hi, Dolores. Chachog. You guys are silly. Okay, so we're on the disappearance and murder of Amber Costello. Amber Costello was last seen alive on September 2nd, 2010, leaving her residence at 1112 America Avenue in West Babylon during the late evening hours. At that time, she was believed to be working as a sex worker. On September 1st, 2010, the day prior to the disappearance of Amber Costello, Miss Costello's cell phone was contacted by a burner cell phone. On September 1st, 2010, this burner cell phone had communications with Costello's phone at approximately 11:33 p.m. and 11:34 p.m. During those communications, the burner cell phone connected to cell site towers in West Amityville and Massapequa Park. Thereafter, the burner cell phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello and had contact with Costello's phone at approximately 12:05 a.m. on September 2nd, 2010. According to witnesses around the time of these communications between the burner cell phone and the Costello phone on September 1st and 2nd, 2010, a prostitution client showed up at Miss Costello's residence located in West Babylon, New York. After the client entered the home, a ruse was executed on the client whereby a person pretended to be the outraged boyfriend of Amber and the client left from the residence. While Amber Costello retained the money the client had brought to pay for her services. So they basically kind of scammed him to get the money and not have to do anything. So basically, they planned the guy to act like, or I don't know if it was her boyfriend, but a guy to say he was her boyfriend and like get all mad at Amber in front of this person and then making like causing this big thing and making the guy just leave and then she gets to keep the money anyway. But anyway, based upon interviews, the client was described as a large white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid 40s, with dark, bushy hair and big oval style 1970s type eyeglasses. A witness described him to police as appearing like an ogre. Furthermore, a witness noticed a first generation Chevy Avalanche parked in the driveway of the residence. According to the witness, following the ruse, this client said he was just her friend. Tell her I'll give her a call and walked out the front door. I mean, so he basically saw this. He saw Rex that night and talked to him. And then a witness, they saw what kind of car and everything. It's crazy. Um, and it says this mirrors the physical attributes of defendant Rex, who is a large white male, approximately 6'4" in height, in excess of 240 pounds in weight, with dark bushy hair, who wears large eyeglasses, and who was 46 years old when Amber went missing. Okay, so thereafter, at approximately 1:18 a.m. on September 2nd, after the ruse had been perpetrated, the burner cell phone sent a text message to the Costello phone, which stated, "That was not nice to do. Wait, that was not nice. So do I credit for next time?" And phone records show that the burner phone was located in Massapequa Park within 2 minutes of this text message being sent. According to a witness, later the next day on September 2nd, 2010, Ms. Costello was again contacted by the same client that was in the house the night before with the avalanche. Further, Amber told us that he wanted to see her again, but he didn't want to come back to the house because of her boyfriend. Thereafter, on September 2nd, 2010, at approximately 9:32 p.m., the same burner cell phone from the previous evening again communicated with the Costello phone. During this communication, the burner cell phone used a cell site location in Midtown Manhattan. Following this communication, and based upon the cell site records, the burner cell phone traveled to Massapequa and or Massapequa Park and had contacts with the Costello phone at approximately 10:39 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. Cell site records for the burner phone indicate that approximately 11:17 p.m. the phone traveled to West Babylon in proximity to the residence of Amber Costello. Subsequently, Amber Costello left her own cell phone behind, walked out the front door of the residence, and was seen alive for the last time. Shortly after Miss Costello left the house, a witness observed a dark colored truck pass the house, specifically coming from the direction Amber had walked towards. It's like so many witnesses, like, this could have been solved way sooner. How many of you guys think that after, like, um, they ended up finding, the bodies and so there was no more found after that day, do you think he kept killing or and then just found a new dumping ground or whatever, or do you think that he stopped because it, like, scared him and then he didn't kill after that? I don't know. It's a part of me thinks, like, somebody like that can't even help themselves. Um, so whoever is, the person who did this, I almost don't think that they stop, but I guess there has been times when, like, serial killers do take, like, a long time to break, so but I don't know. I'm thinking he might have continued and then just found a new spot. Because yeah, you're right. I think he actually had multiple dumping ground spots. 13 years. Is that what? Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they uncover from all this. All right. So records establish that defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York for the disappearance of Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. So it seems like a lot of these times matched up when his wife was out of town. So yeah, yeah, he did. He did twist a Taurus. A few different states he's linked to. One, he has was it a brother or because they got one of his cars from, was it South Carolina, I think? One of his cars, I think it was his brother or something, right? And then he has a timeshare, I think, in Las Vegas. Um, and then what's the other place that they think he could be linked to? Yeah, Petronas. It was his brother. Okay, thanks, YouTube. I think his brother was his own killer hunter. You think maybe? I mean, you think, Sandra? Interesting. Now, do you think all 10 and then okay, let's just start there. Do you think all the 10 that are grouped together, do you think those are all him or all the same, I should say, because he hasn't been convicted yet. He's just been charged. But do you think they're all the same person that killed all 10? Herman Munster. Oh, really, Coffee? Oh, John, is that an answer to the question I just asked? You don't? And if that's the case, then we have somebody, I mean, we have other killers out there then still, huh? Well, of course, I know we do, but I'm just saying, like, that are responsible for some of them. Wow, it's crazy. Okay, where are we at? Records establish that defendant Heuermann's what? Oh, yeah, I already read that part. Okay. Significantly, travel records show that on July 8th, 2009. Well, I'm reading a comment. What did it say? Yeah, I don't know, Vera. So, okay. Where are we at? Yeah, travel records show that on July 8th, 2009, defendant Heuermann's wife departed the United States for Iceland. On August 18th, 2009, Rex's wife returned to the United States. Consequently, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of the country during the time of Melissa Bartholomew's disappearance. Coincidence? I really wonder. I don't think so. Based upon cell phone billing records on June 4th, 2010, the cell phone subscribed to by defendant Heuermann's wife traveled from New York to Maryland. On June 8th, 2010, the phone subscribed to defendant's wife returned to New York from Maryland. Consequently, based upon cell phone records, the cell phone subscribed to defendant Heuermann's wife was out of New York State during the time of Megan Waterman's disappearance. Based upon cell phone billing records on August 28th, 2010, the cell phone subscribed to Rex's wife traveled from New York to New Jersey. On September 5th, 2010, the phone subscribed to his wife returned to New York from New Jersey. Consequently, the cell phone subscribed to Rex's wife was out of New York during the time of Amber Costello's disappearance. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. I don't think he killed all of them. This is just commonplace to dump bodies. There's no lights, no cameras, no cops down there, and everyone knows that. I used to go there and race cars. No, I agree. I don't think he is either. So I was just asking you all what you think. But in my opinion, I feel like that it's not all him. But I do feel like that there's more than 4 that he's responsible for. And possibly there could be some in other states that he is. But all of the ones that they found in on that strip, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe they're not all him, but I don't know. But thank you, Jonathan. All right, where are we at? So cell phone records for the cell phone of Rex A. Heuermann. During the times of the disappearances and murders of the victims, defendant Rex owned an architectural business located in Midtown Manhattan, and this business was the name subscriber of Heuermann's cell phone, which was active during the times of the victim's disappearance and subscribed to Heuermann's home address in Massapequa Park. Although cell site records from that time period no longer existed, investigators obtained cell billing records which showed general location information for Heuermann's cell phone. A review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Heuermann was located in the same general locations as the burner cell phones used to contact victims Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello. That's what I was trying to explain earlier, but I didn't do a very good job. But how he was located in the same general locations as the burner cell phones, which those burner cell phones were used to contact the victims. And he got a new burner phone for each victim. I think there's a good chance that he could have changed his MO. Number one, you're getting older. Um, you're learning, you're learning what works, what you have to do. He probably could have got sloppier. You're getting older. So if the earlier ones of the dismemberment, think about that. He probably realized how much work that takes. And he probably just figured, hey, he got like cocky, like, hey, I'm not getting caught. I don't need to go through all this work. Um, and then he just started, not dismembering him. It could, have to do with laziness, age, because it takes a lot of work to do that. So, you know what I'm saying? So he might thought, you know what? I don't even need to do this. And he's just getting too old to do it and too much work. So I do think he could have changed. If he was murdering under like through a long time span, I do think that, that he could have changed his ways as he did it, as he learned what he thought he had to do and what he thought he didn't, and what he, thinking I'm getting away with all this, thinking, I don't need to do that. I could just wrap him up, or I could just do that, So yeah, I definitely think he could have changed. Okay, so we got this note that says neither cell phone billing records nor travel financial records could be obtained for defendant Heuermann's wife for 2007, as such records were no longer available due to retention policies. Therefore, it is undetermined at this time defendant Heuermann's wife was traveling out of state during the time of Maureen Bernard Barnes' disappearance and murder. Okay, so where did I... Oh yeah, we'll go right here. So wait, Vera, you're local, you said, right? And so are you, Jonathan? Wait, are you guys local enough where you could maybe go down that highway and show us kinda like I know that I heard that they put lights up since they found the, um the bodies, that they put lights up, but before that, it was really dark there. But would you be willing to, like, take a video and of the area? If it's close enough. Yeah. Oh, wow, really, Jesse? Wait, I have a question. When well, that was pretty shortly after they announced that there the avalanche, that was after they already arrested Rex, right? Because 'Cause I'm just curious if, let's say they were, like, looking for a Chevy Avalanche, were you, like, debating or doubting that it was your ex or something? Did you have, like, thoughts? But I don't know how it all happened as far as I feel like they arrested him right when they put that information out, right? Yeah, Jonathan. So we could either do you could either just take a you know what we should do? Take a video, so at least you have, like, a good, quality video of it, and if you even wanna try to do a live, we could try, but sometimes, depending on service, it will get real choppy and stuff. So just in case, actually take a video so it's, like, a clear video, um, and we could try to, even do it live, or if you just wanna take a video, send it, and then I could just play it on a live. Oh, thanks, K8. Hi, Bean. Yeah, it would be. Yes, Jonathan, thank you. This case, I'm definitely gonna be on this case for a while. There's another case that I wanna, talk about tomorrow too, but there's so much to this case that I feel like there's so much to look into. Alright, so where are we at? But yeah, if you guys are not busy tomorrow, I'm gonna be talking about the Madeline Kingsbury case with, Juliet is gonna help me. We're gonna go through some of the, read through some of the search warrants and stuff. So I don't know if you guys have been following that one, but I'm behind on that one too. Like I just started looking into that before this one. So, but I'll get there, guys. So you guys could even help with some facts if I'm not, facts that I might not know yet. But we all got to start somewhere, right? All right, where are we at? So Waterman and Costello, as well as the U. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, this continued right here. Okay, so let me read this again. A review of these records, as well as Heuermann's American Express records, showed numerous instances where Heuermann was located in the same general locations as the burner cell phones used to contact victims Bartholomew, Waterman, and Costello, as well as the use of Bernard Barnes and Bartholomew's cell phone when they were used to check voicemail and make taunting phone calls after the women disappeared. Significantly, investigators could find no instance where Heuermann's was in a separate location from these other cell phones when such a communication event occurred. So that's pretty big. Oh, Ashley, hey, yay, thanks for coming. Oh, you can't, okay. Uh, so now we got 3 mods, I think. Good. For example, on July 10th, 2009, the last day Melissa Bartholomew was seen alive, both the burner phone and defendant's phone were in the area of Massapequa and traveled together toward New York City. So that's pretty big too. Therefore, both Miss Bartholomew's phone and Heuermann's phone traveled eastbound toward Massapequa. On July 14th, 2009, at approximately 7:15 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner phone used to contact Miss Bartholomew prior to her disappearance had activity in Manhattan. On the same date, between approximately 6:58 and 7:22 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone also show locations in New York City. Following Miss Bartholomew's disappearance on July 17th, I always start saying that wrong, 2009, at approximately 12:40 p.m., a mail caller used the Bartholomew's phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. The Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 4 Penn Plaza, which is approximately 2,372 feet or 0.45 miles from Heuermann's then office space, which at the time was located at 9 West 36th Street, New York. See illustration below. So we have Rex Heuermann's office and then the victim's phone. So when he called, this is the one where he called the family, right? Wait, indicate burner for use to contact was present prior to this. Yeah, this is okay. Here it is. Yeah, when he called from her phone to contact the family, this is where her phone pinged or her location of her phone, and then this is where his office was. So yeah, the duration of the call was 1.1 minute or 1 minute and 6 seconds. Okay, so and then it talks about unfortunately cell site records for the burner cell phone used to contact Miss Bernard Barnes were not obtained at the time of her disappearance and no longer exist. Okay, so let's get back to this one. Okay. On this same date at approximately 1:45 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's phone also show a call location in New York City. Hold on a second. Does that say? So wait, what time was that? Hold on, I just want to see. So at 12:40 is when he contacts her family, but then at 1:45 they show that Heuermann's phone is in New York City. So okay. So now we're on July 22nd, 2009. At 6:51 p.m., cell site records indicate the burner cell phone had activity in New York City, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 19 West 34th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or 0.16 miles from defendant Heuermann's then office space, which at time was located at 9 West 36th Street. See illustration below. So 6:51. So the cell phone, burner phone had activity. Target phone. The target phone right here. And then this is his office. So that's how close he was. Okay, on this same date, approximately 5:12, billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in New York City. So it shows that he was in New York a little bit more than an hour before he made that call with her phone, right? Hold on. Or well, he made a call with the burner cell phone, sorry, the burner one, that activity. So you see how it's, I mean, it's not looking good. On July 23rd, 2009, at approximately 1:39 p.m., cell site records indicate that the burner cell phone had activity in New York, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 919 West 34th Street. So this is, wait, is that the same one? Oh, it's almost saying the exact same thing. So this is 139. Hold on a second. No, that's 6:51. Okay. 0.16 miles from Heuermann's then office space. On that same date, approximately 12:48 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call in New York. Huh. Hold on. 2009, July 23rd, July 22nd. Okay. So That's so weird because it's like almost like this he do the exact am I missing something or am I seeing something wrong? It's like he went to the exact same spot to use the burner phone, one, the 2 days in a row, and also, made a call wait, activity, billing record, hold on the same day. Yeah, I made a call, like, around an hour before on his phone, his actual phone, not the burner phone. Both days, it's like he used his actual phone around, like, averaging, like, an hour before he uses the burner phone at the same spot. Are you guys following me? Huh. Anyway, on July 23rd, 2009, at approximately 6:42 p.m., a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact her family. How freaky would that be? Like, oh, you see, you know, your daughter or whoever family member he was talking to, you see the phone, you're like, oh, and then you pick up and it's a guy, and that just. So the Bartholomew phone was located in New York City at this time, specifically attached to a cell tower located at 275 West 39th Street, which is approximately 872 feet or is that the same thing? Am I like some kind of Twilight Zone here? Yeah, what yes, he talked to her sister. I can't even imagine, like, how afraid would she be? Like, oh man, you'd be so afraid. Like, and he tells her like how that he killed her sister and how he did it and all that stuff. Okay, wait. On July 23rd, between 8:29 and 9:30, the burner cell phone had activity in New York City. Later on that same date, at approximately 11:05 p.m., billing records from Heuermann's cell phone listed a call located in Jamaica, Queens. So here's a graph. Let's see what this is doing here. So this is showing calling. Hold on, let me see. 8:59 seconds, 29 seconds. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. I got to get ready for work. I get out around 11 and I'm only 15 minutes away from the Ocean Parkway. I take video, then how can I send you the video? Okay, email me and then we could figure it out. If you can't email me the video, we'll figure out how to send it, but just email me and then we'll discuss how we could get it from you to me. Well, have fun at work. Thank you for all the super chats and thank you for taking a video. That's awesome. Oh, wow, Ashley, awesome. You're gonna be moving out? That's cool. Where do you work at? Man, I feel like I haven't really talked to you forever. Did you get my last text, when you had texted? It took me a while to see your text, and then when I did, I texted, but I don't think I've chatted with you since that. But congrats on that, on the job and stuff. Alright, so I'm trying to figure out this graph here or this, map. Um, let's see. During said time period, Bartholomew phone utilized the following cell phone towers in New York, which are 2230, 3280 feet. Oh, those are feet from Heuermann's then office space. See illustration below. Okay. Bartholomew phone utilized. So on the same date, during similar time frame between approximately 6:46 and 7:05, Heuermann's cell phone listed billing locations in New York. Okay. Yeah. On August 10th, 2009, based upon subpoenaed travel documents, Heuermann departed for Iceland, and all phone activity for Bartholomew phone stopped. Jeez. On August 18th, 2009, Heuermann returned from Iceland, and phone activity for Bartholomew phone resumed the next day. You gotta be kidding me. Dang. So all these like duration of these calls, 29 seconds, 9 seconds, 35 seconds, 7 seconds, 31 seconds, 32 seconds, and 16 seconds. So I'm trying to call. Okay, so called, calling, unknown, unknown, and then there's 3 that are the same. Okay. So on August 19th, 2009, approximately 7:23, a male caller used the Bartholomew phone to contact Miss Bartholomew's family. Cell site records indicate that Bartholomew's phone was located in New York at this time, specifically attached to cell tower. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, he really harassed. I mean, how many times did he call their family? Looks like a lot. So this call lasted 1 minute and 35 seconds. So this is his office. This is where the call came from Bartholomew's phone. And then August 26th at 11:29 a.m. and 11:34 a.m., a male caller used Bartholomew's phone again and contacted the family. And then it shows that at 11:38, Heuermann's cell phone lists him in New York. So, but this call, oh wow, this call lasted 2 minutes and 54 seconds when he called the family. Okay, additional burner phones and online account activity linked to defendant Heuermann. As described herein, over the course of the comprehensive investigation of defendant Heuermann, investigators located a number of online accounts and burner cell phones linked to defendant Heuermann, but which were held by him in fictitious names and used for illicit activities. American Express records obtained via subpoena revealed recurring Google Pay payments made by defendant Heuermann to Tinder, an online dating and geosocial networking application used to find dates or hookups within a user's immediate vicinity. Hey, Mel. I don't know. He says, I wonder if maybe his wife found the cell phone when those really short hang up calls came through. Only when his wife was back home. Or this guy, weird obsession occurs when wife back. Make no sense. Oh, hey, Baron Marshmallow Inc. Alrighty. Okay. So I just wanted to get caught up on some of the messages. All right. So records were then obtained from Tinder, which revealed that the Tinder profile was set up in the name Andy. Heuermann's middle name is Andrew, with links to a burner cell phone 347-885-1697, subscribed in the fictitious name of Andrew Roberts, using an email account, springfieldman9 at AOL.com. The Springfieldman9 account was established with AOL on January 15th, 2011, in the fictitious name John Springfield, with an Astoria, Queens, New York zip code, using another burner cell phone, which records show has no named subscriber. Records obtained from Verizon showed that the defendant Heuermann's cell phone was used on December 11th, 2022 for a period of over 3 hours to access the fictitious Springfieldman 9 AOL account. Similarly, records obtained from T-Mobile show that burner cell phones 2671 was used on multiple dates, including November 8th, 2022, to access this account. A review of call records for these two additional burner cell phones revealed that both cell phones were used extensively between 2021 and 2023 for prostitution related contacts, either with sex workers or massage parlors. In addition, cell site warrants for these burner cell phones revealed that just like the burner cell phones defendant Heuermann used to contact the victims prior to their disappearances, these additional burner cell phones had frequent site activity in Midtown Manhattan and Massapequa Park. Specifically, the records revealed that both these burner cell phones consistently had activity on the cell towers that provided coverage to defendant Heuermann's residence in Massapequa Park and his business in New York City. Wow. So he was still, I mean, up till he was arrested to 2023, he was still using burner cell phones. So it does make me think that he didn't stop killing. He just changed his dump where he was dumping his victims, and then, hmm, man, this guy is sick. All right. Legal process served on Google seeking records or accounts associated with the device identifiers of these additional burner phones revealed a connection to yet another burner or junk email account namely thawk 808 or 008 080672 at gmail.com. Herein after the Thawk, I'll just say T-Hawk, yeah, T-Hawk email account. Google records further indicate that T-Hawk email account was subscribed in the fictitious name Thomas Hawk. A search warrant revealed that the Thomas Hawk email account associated with the burner cell phone 2671 was used to conduct thousands of searches related to sex workers, sadistic. You guys could read that. Wow. Man. Hey, Lafaday. Yeah, I wonder, Barry Marshmallow Link said, I think you're absolutely right. He didn't just stop in 2010. I think we're going to learn some shocking things during this investigation and trial. I think so. Patronus launches remind me of Brian. Oh, I know, me too. Yeah, Sandra. Okay, so here's what some of his searches. So he's, I don't know if I'll be able to say a lot of them, but here's 30 of them here. So Mistress Long Island, Mature Escorts Manhattan. Here, so in case if I'll make them a little bigger because I'm not going to probably be able to read all of them. Sick. Like what? What? This guy. Oh my God. Are you serious? I'll just like, I don't even think I could read any of these. Like what? So that's some of his searches. So the T-Hawk email account was also used to conduct in excess of 200 searches between March 2022 and June 2023 related to active and known serial killers. The specific disappearances and murders of Maureen Bernard Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, and the investigation into their murders. These searches are articles accessed include but are not limited to: why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Long Island killer, Long Island serial killer phone call, Long Island serial killer update, Long Island serial killer update 2022, FBI active serial killers by state 2023, map of all known serial killers, unsolved serial killer cases, America's 5 most notorious old cases, 11 currently active serial killers, 8 terrifying active serial killers we can't find, John Bitroff, and he's like a serial killer that's in jail right now, that around the same area, and like some of them, there's an interview that I'll play with, um, I think that's the interview I'm talking about, where her aunt, I think it is, was killed, and they thought it was John did it, and John, like, denied. I mean, he admitted to some, but he denied he did that one, and so now she's thinking that it could be Rex, now that all this is coming out. Um, I think that would I think it was, like, so long ago that it was, Rex would be, what, in his 20s or 30s, maybe, when it happened? I don't remember, the dates, but I mean, there's some that, like, might be him. They're, they're like, so, like, really old. So, I mean, he might have been killing his whole life, basically, his whole adult life, I should say. But anyway, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Maureen Bernard Barnes, redacted name of relative of Melissa Bartholomew, redacted names of relative of Megan Waterman. So he's looking up like relatives of them. Cops launch Gilgo Beach homicide investigation task force, mapping the Long Island murder victims. Inside the Long Island serial killer in Gilgo Beach, the Gilgo Beach killer, Criminal Minds. In Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be key to break in case. The T-Hawk email account was also used to search for a number of podcasts and or documentaries regarding this investigation, as well as repeatedly viewing hundreds of images depicting the murder victims and members of their immediate families. Significantly, defendant Heuermann also searched for the viewed articles concerning the very task force that was investigating him. So here's some of the. This one says the case is solvable. New task force aims to solve Long Island serial killer case. Cops launch Gilgo Beach homicide investigation task force. Oh, there's still 10 pages. Oh, look at. So a search warrant conducted on the fictitious Springfield account further revealed selfie photographs that appeared to have been taken by defendant Rex Heuermann of himself and sent to other persons to solicit and arrange for sexual activity, further linking Heuermann to the fictitious email account and the burner cell phone 2671 used to establish this account. Here's him right there. It says defendant Rex A. Heuermann was further linked to the burner cell phones 2671 because on May 19th, 2023, defendant Heuermann was observed by law enforcement via video and field surveillance at a cell phone store in Midtown Manhattan and purchased additional minutes, which were added to this burner cell phone. There he is again. There. Analysis of the Springfield 9 AOL account also led to the discovery of another email account, Hunter1903A3 at gmail.com. Herein, after the Hunter 1903 Google account, used on February 14th, 2021, to send an image of a prostitute from upstate New York between two of the Heuermann's secret email accounts. Wait, send an image. Okay, between the accounts. Further investigation revealed that Hunter's Google account was created on February 14th, 2021, using burner cell phone 1697 as the user's phone number and SMS recovery number, and subscribed in the fictitious name Andy Roberts. The same fake name linked to the target Tinder profile and burner cell phone 1697, as well as the same alias utilized by defendant Heuermann in communications with numerous potential sex partners responding to his advertisements for sex. Yeah, Patronus, I know, right? And the fictitious birthday of August 6, 1972, which corresponds to the digital ending of the burner account T Hawk. Okay. Oh, hey, Rich. Okay. So that's the only case you're following right now? Oh, where are we at? In addition, Google provided IP address information for the user acceptance of the term of service, which revealed that the term of service were accepted on February 14th, 2021. Significantly, records were obtained from Altice doing business as Optimum, which is an internet service provider, indicating that the IP address at defendant Heuermann's home address was also that same as the one that is linked to this account. Moreover, based upon SCPD records for the official website, gilgilnews.com, a website maintained. Oh, that's what I wanted to go over. Shoot, I forgot I wanted to go to that website first, and it gives a nice little overview of everything, but we'll do that after this real quick. I knew I would forget something. Okay, so where are we at? Yeah. A website maintained by the SCPD to disperse news pertaining to this investigation. Defendant Heuermann's IP address was used on May 23rd, 2020 and July 3rd, 2020 to access the official news concerning this investigation. Records obtained from JetBlue also show that the same IP address was also utilized to book flights for defendant Heuermann and his wife in 2018. When analyzing this usage of all devices and accounts used by defendant Heuermann, there appears to be a clear pattern wherein Heuermann used burner phones and burner junk email addresses to, one, contact sex workers and sex partners, to conduct extensive searches related to sex, and I don't know if that word is a word we could say, but I don't know, violent. So yeah, he used. Yeah, okay, so you see what they're saying. Seek online information about authorities investigating his crimes. These burner cell phones and email accounts with fictitious identities were used in an effort to conceal Heuermann's true identity, conceal his criminal activity, unlawfully proposition sex workers, and attempt to monitor the investigation of his crimes. Here we go. So here's the DNA analysis of hairs recovered from the examination of the victims' bodies. During the course of this investigation, each of the 4 victims' bodies were examined by forensic scientists with the Suffolk County Crime Lab, which were revealed as follows. Maureen Bernard Barnes. Miss Barnes had been left restrained by 3 leather belts on which was utilized to tie Barnes' feet, ankles, legs together, or her feet, ankles, and legs together. During the examination of the belts, a female human hair was recovered from the buckle of one of the belts by the Suffolk County Crime Lab. Hereinafter, female hair on Barnes. On or about December 8th, 2010, the Suffolk County Lab, this hair, wait, what? On about December 18th, this hair and was able to determine that it corresponded to a Caucasian head hair fragment. Although this hair was not suitable for nuclear DNA profiling at that time, it was subsequently submitted for further DNA analysis. See below. Where's below? I don't know. We'll get to it. So Megan Waterman. Megan Waterman had been bound by clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Waterman's body, 2 female human hairs were recovered. One from outside the head area and the other from one from outside the head area? Okay. And the other from the tape of the head area. Both hairs were recovered in the vicinity of Miss Waterman's head. Hereinafter, 2 female hairs on Waterman. Examination by the Suffolk County Lab indicated that the 2 female hairs on Waterman exhibited Caucasian European characteristics, but were unsuitable for further DNA testing at the time. The 2 female hairs on Waterman were subsequently submitted for DNA analysis. And then you have Amber Costello. An examination of Amber Costello revealed that she appeared to have been bound by 3 pieces of clear or white duct tape. During the course of the examination of Miss Costello's body, a female human hair was recovered, specifically on a piece of tape inside of the burlap wrapping in the vicinity of Miss Costello's head. A subsequent examination of female hair on Costello led to the determination that it had Caucasian European characteristics. However, it was unsuitable for further DNA testing at the time. Okay, so we got forensic lab number 1. As noted above, the female hair on Barnes, 2 female hairs on Waterman, and female hair on Costello, collectively, the female hairs recovered on the 3 victims were all sent to an outside forensics lab. Hereinafter, forensic lab number 1. So forensics lab number 1 applies DNA techniques and direct genome sequencing in difficult to solve forensic casework and the identification of human remains. In or about July 2022, Forensic Lab 1 was able to determine that each of the aforementioned female hairs recovered on the 3 victims each belonged to a female individual in mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, and that this female was not any of the victims. On or about July 21st, 2022, an undercover SCPD detective recovered 11 bottles from a trash receptacle that had been left out for collection in front of the residence of defendant Rex A. Heuermann. The Suffolk County Crime Lab took swabs of said bottles, which were subsequently sent to Forensic Lab 1 for DNA profiling. Based on these new submissions on or about February 24, 2023, Forensic Lab 1 was able to conclude that one of the DNA profiles generated from the aforementioned bottles taken from defendant Heuermann's residence indicated a female individual belonging to mitochondrial haplogroup K1C2, which is the same group, mitochondrial haplogroup, as the female hairs recovered from the 3 victims. The profile was then compared against the previously tested female hair sample recovered on the remains of Miss Megan Waterman, which indicated that the 2 belonged to the same individual or someone closely related. Based upon the investigation and evidence recovered to date, that female is believed to be wife of defendant Heuermann. Forensic Lab number 2, on or about March 23rd, 2023, the lab requested Forensic Lab number 2, a lab specializing in forensic mitochondrial analysis, to conduct additional independent analysis. On or about June 12, 2023, Forensic Lab number 2 issued a report concluding that the DNA sample from the female recovered from the bottles outside the residence of defendant Heuermann Heuermann's wife and the female hair on Costello indicated that the mitochondrial DNA profile are the same at all compared positions, common to and between samples, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.98% of the North American population from the female hair on Costello. And it says EMPOP is shorthand for the European DNA Profile Group. Mitochondrial DNA Population Database, which is the web-based collection of human mitochondrial sequence data from various populations worldwide. The North American database includes 12,386 sequences of North American forensic significance. Wow, the statistical analysis incorporates 95% confidence level or margin of error, as the North American database does not include every single DNA sequences of North American forensic significance, which would require the typing of every individual in the population. Wow. See Exhibit B, statistical report, and for an in-depth explanation. Yeah. So awesome how they could do that stuff. How science, like how much they could do with just like a little something that you can't even see sometimes with the, your eye. Well, the hair, but like, it's amazing. I know. I wonder too, Laura. Hi, Laura. I don't think I got to say hi to you, but I know. I feel like they're gonna we're gonna find out, like, there's probably so many. I mean, I don't know. It's unless if he was only able to do it when his wife left town, then that would limit him. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if he wasn't married and was single and nothing was stopping him from, consistently doing it, I would say, well, I wonder if his wife actually left town. Like, how often did she go out of town? I mean, I know they linked up the times these victims went missing, and they linked it up with, her going out of town. But I wonder if, what they should do, which they probably are working on, I'm sure, try to get every time she went out of town to see if there was any other people that went missing in that time. And then they could interview her to see any other times that she may have went out of town that they weren't able to, get information on. Hi, left-handed. Hey, Courtney, what's up? Yeah, he is. All right, hold on. Where are we at? Okay, so now we're on right here. Based on the foregoing, while 99% or 99.98% of the North American population can be excluded from the female hair on Costello, and 99.69 of the North American population are excluded from the female hair on Waterman. Wonder why is it different though? I'm not understanding why. Wait, hold on. 99.99% excluded from the female hair on Costello, but only 99.69 be excluded. That doesn't make sense why it would even be different. Huh. It is significant that RH's wife cannot be excluded from either the female hairs recovered on the remains of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. As previously noted, defendant Heuermann's wife was out of state at that time of Miss Waterman and Miss Costello's disappearance and murders. As such, it is likely that the burlap tape vehicle, or the burlap tape, the tape, or the vehicle, or other instruments utilized in furtherance of these murders came from defendant Heuermann's residence, where his wife also resides, or was transferred from his clothing. So male hair linked to defendant Heuermann. So they did find one of his hairs too, one of Rex's. Oh, so then he could have, yeah. Wonder if oh my God, I wonder if he killed someone every time she left town. Because if they could get like accurate dates, they may be able to get like link up A lot of them, maybe, like, when, when somebody went missing and if it was at the same time that she left. Yeah. Alright, so here we go. During the initial examination of Miss Waterman's skeletal remains and the burlap materials, the Suffolk County Crime Lab was able to recover a male hair from the bottom of the burlap used to wrap Miss Waterman by her killer. An initial examination of said hair revealed Caucasian European characteristics. However, the hair was unsuitable for further DNA analysis at the time. This hair was subsequently submitted for further DNA. And it says, where are we at? The hair was for DNA analysis. And on or about July 31st, 2020, Forensic Lab number 1 was able to generate a DNA profile for the hair recovered on the bottom of Waterman burlap. Specifically, Forensic Lab number 1 determined that this hair belonged to a male and mitochondrial haplogroup V7A. Following the discovery of the Chevrolet Avalanche, which was registered to defendant Heuermann, in the investigation of cell billing records and other items on or about January 26, 2023, a surveillance team observed and recovered a pizza box thrown by defendant Rex A. Heuermann into a garbage can located in front of 385 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. So they got this pizza box, some crust. The pizza box was sent to the Suffolk County Crime Lab for analysis, where a swab was taken from the leftover pizza crust. On or about March 23rd, 2023, the Suffolk County Crime Lab sent the swab from the pizza crust abandoned by defendant Heuermann to Forensic Lab number 2. On or about April 28th, 2023, a detective hand delivered from Forensic Lab number 1 a portion of male hair on Waterman to Forensic Lab number 2 for testing. On about June 12th, Forensic Lab number 2 was able to determine as to the male hair on Waterman and the swab from the pizza crust that the mitochondrial DNA profile are the same, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.96 of the North American population from the male hair on Waterman. So they can, based on the foregoing, while 99.96 North American population can be excluded from the male hair on Waterman, it is significant that defendant Heuermann cannot be excluded. Okay. Arrest and search of Heuermann, his residence, and other locations. On or about the evening of July 13th, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was arrested by Suffolk County police officers. Searches of his residence as well as other locations are currently ongoing. At the time of the arrest, defendant Heuermann had on his person the burner cell phone 2671, which was linked to the T-Hawk email account used to conduct the online searches described above. If convicted, or penalties. If convicted on the current charges, defendant Rex A. Heuermann faces multiple sentences of life without parole. Remand without bail is appropriate. Based on the serious, heinous nature of these offenses, the strength of the people's case, the life incarceration of the defendant faces upon conviction, the extreme measures of this defendant took to attempt to avoid apprehension for an extended period of time, the recent sadistic and CP searches, use of fictitious names, email and cell phone burner accounts, online counter surveillance, and his access to the history of possessing firearms, the people believe that the only means to ensure the defendant's return to court is to remand the defendant without bail. So that's that. Wow. So and they found like hundreds of guns in his house too. Okay, so let's go to this real quick. So here's the website where it has, you go to gilgonews.com. You have timeline here. Let me make this bigger. It gives you the dates and everything. So here's the 10. This is multiple victims. So here's 10 different places. Oh, wait, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 11 different. So you have human remains were located in Davis Park on Fire Island. DNA later linked these remains to another set of remains located on April 11th, 2011, along Ocean Parkway in Nassau County. These remains, known as Jane Doe 7, have not been identified. But actually, they identified, oh shoot, I can't think of what her name was now. They identified her. They did a press conference, was it yesterday or the day before? Vargas, I think. Man, there's just so much to to remember and keep track of, and I try to learn as much as I could in like 2.5 days, but I think it's Vargas, right? The one that they just identified. And this gives like a whole nice summary of everything. If people are new to the case and you want to see a summary, this is probably what I should have just read, right? But yeah, and then you have, hold on, you have the map right here. And then, hold on, here's the victims. So he was charged with her death. This is the one that he's not yet charged, but I'm sure he's going to be charged because, I mean, all that stuff we just read in the indictment, I'm sure they'll be able to charge him with hers too. And then he's charged with hers, Amber and Megan, these 4. But here's some of the other remains they found. They found Jessica Taylor, an escort working in New York City. Were located in a wooded area in Manorville on July 26, 2003. Additional remains of Taylor were discovered March 29th, 2011 along Ocean Parkway during the search for Shannon Gilbert. And then Manorville Jane Doe 6, Valerie Mack, an escort whose last known whereabouts was in Philadelphia in 2000, identified through genetic genealogy in 2020 as the victim whose remains were discovered in 2 separate occasions in Manorville and Oak Beach. Some pictures of her. And it shows where the remains were. And then John Doe, the skeletal remains of an Asian male were discovered along Ocean Parkway on April 4th, 2011. It's estimated that the male was between 17 and 23 years old at the time, 5 foot 6 inches tall, poor dental health. The time of his death is believed to be approximately 5 to 10 years prior to the discovery. And then it shows where he was found. And then we have unidentified toddler. The skeletal remains of a female toddler were discovered along Ocean Parkway in close proximity to Valerie Mack on April 4th, 2011. It is believed the toddler was 2 years old at the time of death, likely non-Caucasian. DNA analysis later identified the unidentified toddler to be a child of the victim Peaches, whose remains were found in Nassau County. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? So there's some of them, and then, which we'll talk about her, Shannon, later here after we go through everything else. I don't know why I just don't think that she's one of his victims, but it was weird that he said that to the escort, which that's what we're going to watch that video in 1 minute. I just want to go through the rest of this here. So here's the belt with the initials. Um, yeah, it was handled by the perpetrator and did not belong to any of the victims. Or it was believed that the belt was handled by the perpetrator. I wonder, did they find DNA on this belt? Like somebody had brought up earlier, you were asking. I don't know if they did. Does anybody know? And then here, April 4th, 2011, a gold necklace and earrings were discovered on the unidentified female toddler. Wow. So the female toddler, man. And then this has some articles and stuff, but all right, let me play the video of some of the like a few news clips. I just edited a video together of some news clips. One of them, it has like I think 3 different parts of interviews with that escort that she had an interaction with him, which is interesting. And I don't know, there's a few different things on it, but let's play that real quick. There's so much we could watch too. I mean, there's just like I watch so many videos and I still am not even close to watching all of them because it's so much going on. All right, let's do this one. All right, here we go.
2011, this man, Dave Schaller, told police he saw one of the victims, Amber Costello, on the night she vanished with a towering Frankenstein-like figure with an empty gaze, who was driving a Chevrolet Avalanche pickup truck. Heuermann, a hulking 6'4", drove a Chevy Avalanche, now in police hands.
I will say that we came about that information maybe a couple years ago.
Meanwhile, Heuermann's house is becoming a macabre tourist attraction.
You have a lot of people coming, taking selfies and things like that, and we certainly don't want to glorify the situation.
The victim was Carmen Vargas, and she was found tied up at the side of the Meadowbrook Parkway in Freeport in 1989. This is 8 miles from where accused Gilgo killer Rex Heuermann has lived his entire life. Carmen's niece was the last to see her alive.
It's bothering me, like I don't eat.
Felicita Figueroa was the last person to see her Aunt Carmen alive when the 29-year-old woman got into some kind of truck at the corner of 106th Street and Lexington Avenue in the summer of 1989.
She got in a dark car. Like I was only 12 years old, so I couldn't really see, but I could tell it was a white man, and I seen like glasses.
On September 11, 1989, a motorist discovered the body of Carmen Vargas, clad in a tube-top miniskirt and tied at the ankles, south of Merrick Road on the Meadowbrook. She had a rope and towel around her neck, but wasn't identified for 3 years.
Always, for me, location is the most important factor. It's far more important than MO.
This online...
Oh, quick, 1989. So how old would that... If this is... Rex's, I mean, how old would he be there? I have to figure out how old is he right now. And the way she's describing it, I mean, the black truck, the glasses, I mean, the glasses, what else did she say? I don't know, it could be. So that means, I mean, he started young if that's the case, right? So 1989, I'm going to figure out how old he is. I don't know how old he is for some reason. I got to figure that out. Just Google it. I'll press play and I'll Google it and see how old that would make him if he was the one that killed her aunt.
Writer who publishes a regular column called Murder Incorporated using a pseudonym said Heuermann had ties to Freeport and also noted that the Meadowbrook Parkway leads to Jones Beach, where Heuermann was a seasonal worker in the 80s. The accused Gilgo killer lived 8 miles from where Vargas was discovered. Her family gave dental records to a Nassau detective in 1992.
She's missing 1, 2, 3 teeth. He said that whatever happened to her, she fought that night because 3 of her teeth were knocked out.
Rex Heuermann is the prime suspect in the Gilgo 4 murders of petite women found dead in the Ocean Parkway brush in 2010, very close to the Jones Beach Exchange. 3 of the women were bound with burlap. Some other victims on this stretch of road were dismembered.
A serial killer can vary the way they do things. There's no rule that serial killers have to do things the same way every time.
We reached out to a law enforcement official in Nassau County who said he would check on the Vargas murder. We also asked Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney if his office had been receiving tips about women left near parkways since Heuermann's arrest.
We received tips on, in all cases at all times, but we maintain the confidentiality of the investigation.
Carmen Vargas's niece said,
okay, so he's 59. It says when you Google, it's 59. So it would make him around 25 years old if he is the one responsible for. Now, if you think about that, then there's gotta be way more. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like he took what's the chances that 89, and then what's the chances he takes a break for another 20 years before, you know what I'm saying, before he kills again, before the 4 victims that we know that he's linked to would be 8, 9, 10, and it'd be almost 20 years after. So there's no way that he took a big break like that and then another break after that up until now. I feel like we're going to find out that he's responsible for a lot. Are you guys following me? I know sometimes I'm not good with my words here, but do you guys think he is responsible for this one? Her aunt? It's crazy. So 25 years old, and what if he started in his 20s, early 20s? Man, he might be responsible for so freaking many. It might blow our minds if we even know,
Serial killer Joel Rifkin was interviewed in 1993 about the murder, but he refused to take responsibility after confessing to killing many other women.
Joel Rifkin said, "That's not me, that's not my work, that's not my victim." But we thought it was him, so we let it die for all these years.
But now, the victim's niece feels compelled to learn the truth.
My mother died with this. And my mother was my everything. She was heartbroken, she was depressed, she went into using drugs. I have a gut feeling like it's really him.
Into the night, people in Massapequa Park did their best to get a glimpse of the home of the suspected serial killer living right in their midst.
It's creepy, really. I mean, if you look at the house, he kind of stands out, but it's creepy. It's weird.
It's a quiet town. Everyone knows each other. Nothing really goes on, so it was just surprising to hear and kind of scary.
I was like, holy crap. Unbelievable right in our town.
James Pagano couldn't believe when he heard the name of the suspect because he went to high school with Rex Heuermann.
He was very quiet, dark, kept to himself, and extremely intelligent, very smart.
So just who is Rex Heuermann? He grew up on Long Island, but he worked in Midtown, an architect who ran a company called RH Consultants and Associates.
Releasing video never seen by the public of the lobby of the Holiday Inn Express in Hauppauge on June 4th and 6th, 2010, seen in a yellow top of Megan Waterman in her final hours.
We believe she did leave the hotel that night to meet her killer. We hope that anyone who may have been in the area that night or may have seen any of the individuals depicted in these videos will reach out to our Crime Stoppers hotline.
Police say they hope to.
Okay, remember this is before they caught him. This clip. So the ones that he's being charged with, the 3, and then the 4th, we're pretty sure is him too. The Bernard Barnes, or at least the same one as the other 3, right? So the earliest, that was 2007. Okay, so if he is responsible for the one in 89. That means he would have taken 18 years off before the 2007. No, that I feel like if they do find out he's responsible for the one in 1989, then there's some more in between. There's some more in between. So what else was I going to say real quick? Something that one of you guys said. Oh, you don't think left-handed though that his MO could have changed with time? You know what I'm saying? As he's learning what he should do and what works and what, I feel like it could change, and then him getting older, not having maybe as much energy, as much strength, as much time, depending on, oh, how long is his wife gone or how much time does he have by himself. I feel like his MO could have changed a little bit. If it's a long time period of killing, I feel like it could. Like there were some earlier ones where they were dismembered and like in 2 different spots, but that would take a lot of time and energy. So some people are thinking, no, that can't be him because that's not his MO. But I disagree. I think his MO could have changed. Like when he was younger, he might, or his first killings, he might have been more, concerned. It's like, okay, I'm going to dismember them and I got to, put them in different spots because he was more cautious. And then as time went by, he gets cocky and thinks, oh, he's so good at it, they're not going to catch him. And then he changes it. I don't know why. I feel like there's a good chance that he could change it as time goes on and as things change. So, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to continue.
Jog memories, and they're doubling the reward for information to $50,000. Waterman was one of 6 sex workers killed, found along with the remains of 5 other people.
It's just really unsettling knowing that something like this literally hits so close to home.
Forensic investigators in and out of a home that neighbors say always looked a little out of place next to the perfectly manicured lawns in Massapequa Park.
This one, just you always looked at it and it looked a little creepy or weird.
The man who lived there, now a suspected killer.
It was a really hot day out and he was outside in overalls chopping wood in the driveway.
Cassandra Wickard had spoken to Rex Heuermann when he was just her neighbor.
He talked to us about how he does woodworking and building furniture, and his father used to build furniture.
His life at
Good point, Jesse. Yeah, that part never changed. Yeah, but like maybe how he disposed of the bodies after changed because of age and depending on his cockiness, thinking, I don't need to do that, or coming up with a better idea how to dispose of them. But yes, the escort thing. So that's why I feel like there's maybe a good chance he is linked to these other ones because the escort links him. But yeah, I agree. And it's sad because some people justify that. I feel like there's some people that, because, we've seen multiple serial killers that kill escorts and that type, and they almost justify it in their head because they're like, oh, nobody's going to miss them, or they don't deserve to live, or something like that, and not realizing they have a freaking family too, and just because their line of work doesn't make them not their life not matter. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like these killers like justify that. Like it's not, they're like less than human or something, which is so not true. But you know what I'm saying? Or that like, nobody will miss them. But it's not. They have families too. And some people, sometimes they do it to, put themselves through school, or because they need money, because I don't know, different reasons, but it doesn't make them like any less of a person, but it's just sad because I think he made a comment. I'm trying to think. I think that the escort says he made a comment about that kind of goes along with that about, as far as like, an escort, it's not as big of a deal or something, which is, it's sick. All right.
As a husband, a father, and an architect seemed ordinary.
Oh, an opportunity.
Just like this voicemail obtained exclusively by Eyewitness News.
Yeah, I had a question for you.
I assumed he just wanted to do some work together, but he always made me a little bit uncomfortable.
I also wanted to touch base.
Dominique Vidal says Heuermann left her that message in late February. When she left a networking group for architects and designers, she says they were both in. Heuermann apparently up until his arrest Thursday. She recalls some of their now chilling past conversations.
And then he asked me if I knew about the Gilgo Beach murders. And back then, I was like, oh, he's just from that area. But now I just see it as a serial killer kind of just putting it in somebody's face.
Yeah, I think he was leading certainly a double life.
Investigators say Heuermann's obsessive web searches about the case, his use of burner phones, and DNA extracted from pizza crust helped tie him to the murders of 3 women, making him a prime suspect for a 4th.
It's a 53-second surveillance video taken from a convenience store at 35th Street and 5th Avenue. Here you see the Gilgo suspect, Rex Heuermann, an architect who works in Manhattan, calmly walking down 5th Avenue at 7 in the evening last Thursday night, July 13th. When the Massapequa Park resident reached the end of the block, you see a number of agents in dark suits make the arrest. The investigation is still moving forward, full speed ahead, as detectives look for DNA evidence at the suspect's Massapequa Park home. Reportedly, they found a life-size doll in a glass case in the house.
In a case that continues to stun those who live here in Massapequa Park, one neighbor who lives right next door to the alleged Gilgo killer, reflecting on nearly 7 days now of just about everything investigators could remove, from large backyard furniture to computers to Playboy magazines and much, much more.
What's been the most significant thing you've seen them pulling out of this house?
Guns, one after another.
As these neighbors can't help but recall memories of Heuermann from the past that seem all the more disturbing now, like when he'd gaze over this fence or when he brought home a giant metal door, which he told his neighbor he needed to seal off a vault in his basement.
But he told me back then, this is to protect my guns. Who gets a door like that, a monstrous door like that, to protect guns? So
you're wondering what might have been, what else might have been behind?
God only knows.
I'm on mute. Sorry. There's no sound at this part, but it's only like a couple seconds. But this is them. Oh, this is them like digging in his yard and stuff. So they're digging. Like there's this part where I don't think I have it in this video, but it's like this rectangle that they're
I told
like,
people for years. I said, I swear to you.
Hold on, real quick. But there's like a rectangle thing that they're like digging, a specific like rectangle, and just digging it up. So I wonder if they're gonna find anything in his yard. What do you guys think? Do you think that I don't know. You think he buried anybody in his yard? I have no idea. If I'm almost thinking maybe I don't know. That's a tough one. What do you guys think? Okay, so here's the escort that had an interaction with him. It's pretty interesting.
I had dinner with the Gilgo Beach killer.
A frightening encounter with Rex Heuermann claims former escort Nikki Brass that the two hooked up in 2015 for a date. He asked her to his house. She insisted on a restaurant.
He told me he was an architect. I knew he worked in Manhattan. And then he got to where he asked me if I liked true crime, asked if I knew about the Gilgo Beach murders.
She says her gut told her to get away.
He said, how do you think he gets rid of the bodies without being seen? And I said, I don't know. I've never been to Gilbert Beach. Like, I don't know the area. And he was like, well, you know, it's really dark and desolate.
Brass is represented by John Ray, the attorney for Gilgo victims, including escort Shannon Gilbert. Brass claims Heuermann spoke about her, too.
He said, what about that Shannon Gilbert girl, the one from Jersey? You think that's connected? And I was like, I do. And he was like, yeah, me too. And he hypothesized that.
See, that part right there confuses me because I was so like thinking that no, Shannon wasn't wasn't his victim. And then the fact that he said that to her, what do you guys think? Because it just doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like that it fits. Because what was he out there chasing her when her driver is out there trying to get, like following her with his car? They just leave. She's knocking on different doors. Like what was he out there? Like was Rex out there somehow chasing her or watching her? It just doesn't seem like it fits. Unless if he just wants to take credit for it, I don't know. I still have to look more into that. Shannon is the one I'm talking about, is the one that called 911, which we'll listen to that 911 call here at the end too. if you guys aren't aware of what that's all about, but it's kind of what sparked this whole thing, this whole search. All right, let me press play.
It was like a killing party.
10 other bodies were found along Ocean Parkway after Gilbert went missing. Police concluded her death was an accident. Reyes insisted it was murder.
We don't have any evidence that he's connected to Shannon Gilbert, except what Nikki has just now told us. But it puts Shannon in the sphere of this man. I think there needs further inquiry by the authorities.
Reyes had his own bizarre encounters, taunting recent anonymous phone calls.
He tape recorded a reporter from 2012 reporting on the Gilgo Beach case. He made eerie sounds, eerie noises, and then he spoke. I hope you're enjoying your pizza. We had not ordered pizza. At the door was a Domino's pizza man with 3 boxes of pizza.
Reyes says he reported the calls to police.
As the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office reveals now that the indictment against Rex Heuermann is unsealed, they're questioning sex workers currently in the county jail system for any other potential connections to the alleged serial killer. We do know others have had close calls. Former escort Nikki Brass, who says Heuermann solicited her approximately 8 years ago.
I had a really, really bad feeling. Like my gut was like telling me I needed to get away from him.
Especially when he actually mentioned the Gilgo case, she says.
When he talked about it, he would like speak in a they and hypothetical, but he had this like smile on his face that made me really uneasy.
She ended the date early. Meanwhile, the investigation now broadened to include Heuermann's property, both in South Carolina and Las Vegas, Nevada, and 2 of his Chevy Avalanches with potential forensic evidence.
Anything from hair to a trophy, souvenir, jewelry, anything that can help us connect these victims to that vehicle will be instrumental in strengthening the case.
And that he seemed normal at first when he said all of that, but like, you know, when someone's real big and they kind of like use their weight to seem somewhat intimidating.
Yeah.
That's like kind of the vibe he gave off from the beginning.
So you met him at a restaurant, right?
Yeah, the steam.
All right, so now tell me, because now start telling me what the clues were for you that like when you sat down, because you said he was talking about true crime and specifically the Gilgo Beach stuff.
Yeah, so when we sat down, like it was basic talk, all normal stuff, seemed normal. And then he was like, oh, are you a true crime buff? And I am, I'm not gonna lie. So we got on that subject and we talked about like certain serial killers and little things. And I said, well, have you heard of the Gilgo Beach murders? And I said, yeah, everybody from Long Island has, we're all following that case. And then he started like talking about it and he tried to say like, you know, he and hypotheticals and like what he thought. But it was the way that he was saying it didn't seem like a true crime fan who just wanted to talk about it.
Help me understand. Like, what were you picking up?
Like his body language kind of changed and like his eyes were like as if he was in a different place. Like he was picturing it all over again. Like he wasn't like quite, it was weird. He almost kind of made the victims like seem like people who didn't matter.
How so?
I don't know, I feel like he was just like, well, they were all escorts anyway, kind of thing, or like just little things like that.
He was saying that to you?
Yes.
See, that's the part I was talking about. It's just, have you guys ever had high chews? Stacy sold, I won a bet, so I won high chews. They are like, how many guys have had them? They're so good. I can't stop eating them. Anyway, yeah, so what do you guys think about her experience with him so far? Isn't that crazy? Thank God that she did not go home with him that day. Oh, man. I wonder if anybody else will come out as having, you know, experiences with him. Like, because I'm sure he didn't kill every escort he met up with. I don't know. We'll see if anybody else comes out that says that they were escort and went with him. I wonder. Now it's making me think if there's going to be other. Well, there might not be. People might not come out because some people aren't very comfortable. You know, they might not want people to know that and don't feel comfortable coming out and saying that to the public. So who knows?
So, all right. So he's saying that. What else were you picking up on him that you were like, this guy, I got to get out of here?
the way he talked about it. That was like 100%.
So it was like he was into it? Did he suggest at all that it was him or no?
No, but the way he talked about it seemed like somebody who like really wanted to be able to brag about what they did but can't. And I feel like he told girls that were in the situation they were in or vulnerable or wouldn't go to police because that gave him the opportunity to be able to kind of brag about it and in a not obvious hypothetical way. He was almost like agitated that I didn't want to go home with him.
So he wanted to go home again after the date?
Afterwards, yeah, towards the end, he asked if I was going to go back with him. And I didn't want to be like impolite. So I tried to be nice, and I was like, you know, it's really late. I'd have to follow you all the way out to Nassau. I don't know the area, and I have to drive back at night. And he was like, oh, no, you should leave your car here. Why would you take your car? You could just come in mine. And that like really like weirded me out. I was like, I wouldn't get in the car with somebody. I don't know you. I'm not going to get in your car. And
how do you take it?
He seemed just agitated, like, oh, I paid for a date. I came all the way to Suffolk. Like, I'm here and doing all this work, and now she's not going to come back with me.
And how does it end?
I ended, well, like I said, I called a friend. And
right, but like body language wise, what, you know, how he was when he left, like, you know, what do you remember?
I was scared because he had this very like overpowering, like,
standing over you kind of deal?
Yeah, kind of intimidating. He tried to give me a hug goodbye, but it was very like uncomfortable and weird, and just everything about it was very, very strange. He seemed like he enjoyed talking about it too much. Not like somebody who empathizes with the victims. And
yes, Laura, I was thinking the same thing. I bet you all of his victims, he told them who they were, so they knew, or he told them that he was the killer, or that he killed people. I think I feel like that he probably did, like before he killed them, so they knew, you know, before he did. I have a feeling, especially considering, you know, her experience with him. So yeah, yeah, man. There's something else I wanted to say. Hold on a second. I don't remember. Yeah, I believe that too. Yep. Oh. All right.
Is following the case.
Did he seem to be fascinated with like the how, or where the bodies were, or who he thought did it? Like, where did his curiosity take him?
Yeah, he would bring up like he brought up the bags they were in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And like how? Like, how did he talk about him? The camouflage burlap?
Yeah, the burlap sacks. He just talked about the burlap sacks and bodies going into burlap, and he said like
how so? What did that mean, bodies going into burlap?
He tried to, I'm not going to say who, he tried to kind of be like, I said, who do you think it is, hypothetically, and he tried to put the blame on somebody and kind of relate it to the burlap sacks, just to, I guess, make me feel more comfortable. But I don't think at the time they had even talked about the burlap sacks yet.
Did he talk about his appetites?
Wow, that's huge. So if she's saying he brings up the burlap sacks, but that wasn't even public yet, like, that's crazy. I mean, you know, I don't know. She probably wasn't aware. Like, if she was following the case and they didn't come out and talk about burlap sacks yet, then she wouldn't even be aware that that was like accurate information, you know. But how crazy though, she could have had like a key piece like that could have got him. But I'm not saying it's her fault. She probably was like, yeah, like probably didn't even realize that, you know, that they were wrapped in it until it came out after that. But she said she's not sure if it came out by then. So wait, what year did she say that she met up with him? Because maybe we could look into that to see if she says the date, and then we could see when did the information about the burlap sacks come out. I don't know if they did say, I mean, did they say it right when they found the bodies that they were wrapped? They might have. I'm not sure. Do you guys know?
Like, because one of the things that...
like what he liked to do?
Yeah, because one of the things that made the cops think it was time to move on him, because, you know, they have to do this balancing test. Like, we got to get as much good stuff to have a strong case versus the God forbid of he does it again on our watch.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really started to concern them was that he was searching more and more, reportedly, for like rapey porn, for lack of a more sensitive term. Did he come across that way to you?
Yeah, he seemed like somebody who was like very rough. He didn't seem like a soft, tender kind of person in any way.
Did he talk about it that way in terms of what's he into or no?
No, because like people are very discreet on when they talk about it beforehand. Usually it's in person, but I was so weirded out. I had no intention of that happening anyway. So like I didn't even breach the subject. I wanted out right after he talked about the Gilgo.
Do you remember anything that he said else about the murders or why he was interested in them or whether he thought there were more or anything like that?
I remember him mentioning the total, 10. He said, like, isn't there 10 people? And I remember him mentioning a girl from Jersey. He said, oh, there's that girl from Jersey. They're wondering if it's connected. He's like, I think it is.
Huh. Why did that? I think maybe it ended there or something. So that was, why? That's a weird point. I don't know if it did end there. Why did that just stop? Hold on, let me make sure. Cancel. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, so it cuts off where he says, that girl from Jersey, they're wondering if it's connected. I think it is. Wait, so the girl from Jersey, isn't he talking about Shannon right there? I know she mentions him in the other interview, how he said, he asks her if she thinks it's connected, and she says, yeah, and he says, yeah, me too. But is that the same one he's talking about? When she says the girl from Jersey? Hold on. Can't remember where she's from. Is she the one from Jersey? Does anybody know real quick? Or is that another one that he's saying is connected? If it's another one, then which one are they talking about? Because then that's another one that may be connected. Let's see. Yeah, she's the one. She's from Jersey, so I bet you she's talking about her again. Okay. Oh, wait. You're saying, I remember they were looking into a local florist in my neighborhood who used, but Vera, are you saying that when did it come out about the burlap? Like right away when they found the bodies, it came out? Or was it a little bit after? So maybe she just wasn't aware of that detail, and maybe it was already out, which then, anybody could have known, I guess. Well, yeah, if you're following the case, like he was, obviously. Okay, so we watched that. Now, hold on. I'll finish putting these pictures up while I find the other thing I want to play for you guys. Do you want to watch his interview next? I have a couple articles too, but how many of you guys have watched the whole interview? Let me see. That's his wife right there. Oh, his ex-wife, because she filed for divorce. That's his wife and son. I'm not sure if it's his stepson. I'm a little confused on that. Oh, that's why it's so long. Hold on one second. Yeah, okay. Hold on one second. Yeah, stepson. So that's her daughter. You're saying that's his wife's son and biological son, Patronus. Okay, one second. All right, let me bring up, and my eyes twitching. I just want to see real quick. I want to see something. If that really is taken down. Hold on one second. No, it's still up. Okay. But okay, let me pull up that interview. Oh, you guys, and if you want to watch something sometime on this, if you go over oh wait, hold on a second. I just lost something. Hold on. Let me pull this up first, then I'll tell you. Downloads. This one. Okay. So here's an interview with, one second, let me get his name. His name, hold on, I just had it up. It is another live, a different live where we could go through the 911 call of Shannon. And because I'm about to eat dinner, but I do want to go through one more article that was kind of interesting. I had 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, is it 4? Yeah, I had 5 articles I wanted to read, but I'm just going to do one because I do want to eat dinner with everybody. But let's look at this one real quick. Wait a minute, why that? What'd you guys think of the interviews though? You guys go watch behavior panels and it will enlighten you on some things. Like I said, behavior isn't always like 100%. It's not an exact science. Kind of use it as a tool, but don't like make any like for sure conclusions on it. I never do it because I know, like, I feel like I've seen them like with behavior, like you'll see maybe them say, oh, this could mean this, but then you could see in another situation where it didn't mean that because everybody's different. But it's good to use as a tool. And I feel like the stuff they said about him is pretty, I don't know, I liked it. It seemed like it was, I don't know, it's just interesting. But like I said, I don't ever use it as like a what do you call that? I can't think of the right words, but basically to mean like, oh, this means this for sure. But and they even tell you that, like, it's not an exact science, but it is interesting because there's a lot of commonalities between like with that kind of stuff, that people do. But there's also everybody's different, so there's sometimes that one thing for one person may mean something, and then for somebody else it might not. Plus, actually, with this one, they said they could not find any other interviews, so it's hard because usually you do want to get like different times and different readings, to find a baseline and find different things. But this was the only one they were able to. Oh, Charlie horse. This is the only interview they were able to find. So keep that in mind, though, too. Okay, so let me go, like I said, one article, and then I'm going to go eat some dinner. Oh, let me do the entire screen. So this one right here. I thought it was kind of interesting. The one where it says, he almost killed him at a school play, which I don't know if it was like intentional, but see what you guys think. Let me make it bigger. So Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann almost killed me during our high school play, classmate says. Make this one more bigger and then I'll do it like this. There you go. Okay. So where are we at? I'm debating whether I should just play this video or read the article. So it could have been curtains for her. Accused Gilgo Beach killer Rex Heuermann nearly offed a member of high school drama club in a backstage incident, a former classmate told Post. Make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Yeah, now you guys can read it good. Okay. So where are we at? Here we go. In 1980, Berner High School in Massapequa on Long Island put on a production of Arsenic and Old Lace. The macabre Joseph Kesselring play about a deranged pair of sisters who lure, poison, and bury a dozen old men in their cellar. Wow. I never seen that play. So a pair of sisters who lure, poison, and bury a dozen. Wow. Okay, Heuermann had been working behind the scenes as a stage tech for the school play, as was the classmate, who also helped paint the sets. During one rehearsal, Heuermann, without telling anyone, added additional weights to the bottom of the pulley system that raised and lowered stage curtains, the classmate recalled. Now, when I said not intentional, what I mean is he intentionally did it to do this, but I don't think he intentionally did it to kill anybody, is what I'm saying. But who knows? Let me know what you guys think. If you think his intention, it was like he was trying to kill somebody, but I think he was trying to like be a jerk and like cause an issue. But let's see. Okay, I'll shut up and read it. When she pulled on a lever to drop the curtains while holding onto a rope connected to the system, her 95-pound body suddenly went soaring toward the auditorium ceiling. I thought I was going to die, she said. She said Heuermann quickly helped her down and apologized. But the former classmate said she thought the hulking 6'4" teen was marking his domain by making it hard for other students to handle the curtains under the additional weight. Yes, I bet you that was his intention right there, what she's saying. And here he is right here. Wonder if there's anybody else. Didn't like isn't one of the Baldwins go to high school with him or something? That kept popping up. Thinks he's so sly. Okay. Here's him in high school. He had reweighted all of them so that only he could do it, or somebody strong could do it, she said. It created a dangerous situation. Criminologist Scott Bond said the backstage drama was no mere accident, but the work of a fledgling psychopath in development. Here's the thing. He didn't even care about the consequences. You know what I'm saying? So it is kind of psycho for him to do that. I don't think his intention was to kill anybody, but his intention maybe was to, claim his domain of doing that so other people couldn't, because he's so big and, able to do it. But that was very, what's the word, negligent, or very, trying to think of another word, where he should have thought of the, what could have happened, that somebody could have died. But, I don't think he was even thinking that way. What do you guys think? Definitely a jerk, especially if he knew that girl was going to be the one that was going to try to pull it, being so little. Where are we at? Let's see. How isn't this weird? Okay, so I was watching that interview and I kept like looking at this picture. I'm like, why does this picture compared to that interview seem like it's like two different people in my head? Like I couldn't merge them together for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, hold on one. Okay, sorry. Look, my mom. I told her I was going to come down and eat, but look, she brought it up. I think I'm just going to wait so I can go down and eat it with them. Look at that. Oh, look, the green beans, since they're green. Because the green screen. I'm eating magic vegetables and then pork and green beans. Hold on a second. Oh. And I got stuff everywhere. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm almost done, and I think I'm just going to go downstairs and eat it with her. Okay. So where are we at here? So he noted that Heuermann also got off from allegedly calling the sister of one of the victims, Melissa Bartholomew, and taunting her. So there's a documentary which I felt like sometimes with like depending on sometimes you can have a good feel like certain documentaries or if they're made for TV or certain things that you probably it's going to be like copyrighted. So that's why I should just link it because it's a really good documentary. There's a couple really good documentaries if you're into this case that you should watch. But one of them does an interview where they black out her face so you can't see it. But she talks about how he called her the sister. It's just like and taunted her and like told her how he killed her sister and all just sick. I mean, can you imagine? Okay, so none of these, I don't think any of these are him. This is just the part of the play. And it says he did it for his own selfish, narcissistic, and psychopathic pleasure, Bond said. That same mind that would do that would embarrass and attempt to hurt his classmate at an early age. Wait, do I have, oh, sorry. Heuermann, an architect and father of two, was arrested last week. Okay, yeah. He lives in his childhood home. He's been named the prime suspect. Yeah, we already know all that. Okay, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting what he did when he was in high school. And then here is a list and their ages. I just want to see somebody. I want to see how. Oh yeah, Vergata. Karen Vergata is the one they just named. What 2 days ago? I think at a press conference I just identified her, and that was from her partial remains were found on Fire Island in 1996. And then a part of her remains, I think another part of it was found somewhere else. So like whoever did it scattered her remains. So if it was him, like I said, maybe in the early days, he was more careful. He took more time. He was a little bit more cautious. And then he changed his MO, got more confident. And so I think it's a possibility. It could be him and he could have changed his MO. She was an escort too. But okay, so we have Jessica Taylor's 20, Valerie 24, unidentified Asian man, and then here's some of the other ones. So Peaches and her daughter, the toddler, Karen Vargata, and then Shannon Gilbert. Wait, that's not I wanted to show you. Hold on, I think it's this one where it has the 17. So they have hold on a second. I know I'm scrolling fast. I just want to. Yeah. So here's the 10 victims have been officially linked to the Long Island serial killer. Linked, but not, not for sure that to charge them. But then there's other murder victims potentially linked, but who haven't been confirmed. So there's a total of 17, I think, is what it makes his possible victims. Like I said, he's only been charged for 3, probably 4. And they're working on the rest, and they might even find more than this list as they're learning about, his whereabouts and all that stuff. So yeah, the rest we'll go over some other time. I do want to maybe we'll do one just on Shannon Gilbert because that's even interesting. We go through a 911 call and all that stuff, and we could do that in one live. It might be a shorter live, but I was going to do that today, but like I said, I'm not going to have time. But all right, guys. Well, Yeah, and then the corruption, that part. Actually, we could combine a live about Shannon Gilbert and then the corruption and all of that. That's kind of interesting. The chief that got arrested and what the one guy broke into his car and took, and then they freaking beat him because of what he found. And then he gets arrested, the chief. He was the one that took over this investigation. And then when they put a new team together, they freaking solved it in like months. They had Rex. It's just crazy. So yeah, maybe we'll do a live on those two things together. Yes, I did get a haircut. My mom cut it. I always have my mom cut my hair. All right, guys, I'm gonna end this. Yeah, tomorrow me and Julia are planning on doing a live reading the search warrants for the Madeline Kingsbury. Oh my Lord, Madeline Kingsbury case. So that's our plan. Not 100%, but that's the plan for right now that we're gonna do. Wait, they had to pay $300,000 for falsely arresting some critter. Oh wow, Jeremiah, really? Oh, is it your birthday, She Builder? Happy birthday today? Is today your birthday, or oh, how old are you? I don't know if I have any of those birthday songs in my thing. Maybe I'll try to download it for tomorrow's live and we could play it. Is today your birthday? Oh, okay. Well, good night, Jen. Happy birthday, She Builder. I hope you had a good birthday or having a good birthday. Hi, Mel. Laugh a day. All right, I think I'm gonna go so I could go eat with them. Mama Mia, thanks to the mods and the new mods, Courtney and Patronus Glow. We got thank you to the old mods, Mama Mia, Asane. Who else was in here? Mama Mia, Asane, and wait, Ashley. But there was one more. I feel like. If I'm missing you, I'm sorry. I know, coffee and conversation. Yep, I'm gonna go. Zeke's barking. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Courtney. Or I just thanked you, huh? All right. Wait, did she build her yesterday? I'm 39. Oh, for the third time. Wait, what? Yeah, and then Jonathan, he's at work, but he's supposed to get us that video. That'll be interesting too. He's gonna video the area because he lives around there. What else? If you guys have any interesting information on this case or the Madeline Kingsbury case, send it to me because those are the two cases for sure that I'm gonna be talking about and looking into. So, all right, guys, bye everybody. Thank you. Yeah, She Builder. I'll try to find my birthday songs, and then, like I said, if we do a live tomorrow, I'll play it. I just don't know where they're at right now, and I want to eat with them. So, all things learn to grow. Oh yeah. Oh, hi, Spicy Lady. Yeah, everybody wish happy. Send birthday energy to She Builder. Sing happy birthday in her mind, and then she'll hear it. Hi, Doris. You guys are hard to say bye because I'll see a new person that I want to say hi to. All right, I better go now. I think I said hi to everybody I see right now. Jamie. Yeah. I think so. All right. Hey, Petty. I didn't. Petty Dab. Hey. I missed you the first time around. Laura. Coffee and conversation. Crash Landing. Batman. Naomi. Brandy XO, Vera, thank you, Vera, for the Massapequa pronunciation. Who else? I'm just going up the list to see if anybody else. Britzy. Oh no, that's not a good one. All right, I better go. All right, bye guys.